Hi guys, Archie Luxury on the Archie Luxury channel. Quick wristwatch check. Breitling Super Ocean Heritage on eBay, $20 rubber strap. So guys, today I want to answer the question 33mm and 36mm watches. What's the verdict? What's the answer? And I gotta tell you guys, I have had my affair with small, dainty watches. Small, dainty watches. And I gotta tell you, in the 90s, you know, the Datejust was 36 mils. There was no Datejust 2. There was no, there was not. There was no 40 mil, 41 mil dress Datejust monster. In fact, even the Grail of Grails, the Rolex Day-Date Presidente, it was 36 mils. And it's an interesting thing. If you go and have a look back on watches through time, say we think of the Amiga Speedmaster, man on the moon watch. Guess what? This was a 42mm watch. But, when they designed it to wear thinner. You see the lugs and the width, they specially machined it to make it look much thinner than the 42 mils the watch was. So in many ways they used a lot of aesthetic tricks to make it seem slimmer and smaller than it was. The Speedmaster came out in the 50s. It was really a 60s was its golden age. Before the Speedmaster Mark II came out, the Speedmaster Professional was the Ants Pants. So it was 42 mil, but they engineered it to look smaller. So it's really quite fascinating. If we think back in time, many watches were made for a different time period. If we have a look at the Breguet, you're talking about a piece, the Type 20s, 38 smidgen more mils, 38 mils. That's what they were. They weren't a huge chronograph. They weren't huge. Sure, you had big watches like the Breitlings, the Chronomats. They were bigger, but for normal people, they weren't monsters. Now, it sort of has evolved there. Even, God forbid, the 40mm Rolex sports watch. Well, I gotta be honest with you. If you compare a Rolex Steel Sports 40mm, like this Explorer 2, and we compare it to the Tudor Black Bay Heritage, which is 41, but it acts much more girthy. Have a look at the height of these two babies. The height. So the Tudor accents the size to make it seem bigger than it really is. Look at the profiles of the case. Big, beefy, chunky. This is the new age. So when it comes to delicate dress watches, well, what is the answer there? Is 33 mils far too small? I've actually owned that genre. I had a 32mm, 33 Audemars Piguet manual wine dress watch. I had my Vacher and Constantine 6405, 33mm. I had a Patek Philippe 3919, 33mm. I even had, God forbid, an octagonal Cartier Santos in steel. And you look at the sizing. What is the story there? What's the go? So a lot of these watches were small. See, we lived in a different era. People were smaller. Blame the hormones in the chicken. The hormones in the chicken. I would seriously suggest that I would be saying what size is reasonable. I was the president of the Thin Dress Watch Society. We were a society which was into thin dress watches, small dress watches. And I've got to be honest with you, the 90s is over, sunshine. The 90s is over. And I really do think that 33 mil, it's too small for a man. This is the reason that the Rolex Bubbleback has tanked in price, because a man can't really wear it. It's a very masculine watch, but it's too small for modern consumption. Now, what are the rules? Well, if you really push them, the art of dress watches, is 33 mil acceptable? And my first Patek was a 3919 33 mil. And the honest answer is it's a beautiful watch. It's a great watch. But it's too small. It is too small. I mean, the way they've evolved, they've gone to 40 mils. And whilst that may be a little bit avant-garde to do that, there's a bit of substance there. What size is too small? And I got to be honest with you, I really do believe in this day and age, 33 mil men's watches is far too small. Far too small. 36, borderline. If it's a Rolex Datejust. My dad wears a 36 mil, and he loves it. He loves it to bits. But what size is too small? Well, when I've showed my Patek Philippe, it's a Grand Classique from Patek Philippe, I've been accused that this 37 mil Legend is far too small. Far too small. Now, there's been very interesting progression with the models, and if we look at Patek Philippe, we can see some interesting things. So, the men's dress watch, the 3919 classic Patek that it is, 33 mils. So then Patek started to up the size. In 2000, Patek released the World Time, which was their new reintroduction of the World Time complication. 37 mils. They also had the 5107, the famed Archie Luxury Calatrava in white gold, 37 mils. Then things started to get bigger and bigger and bigger. The 5296, 5196, 5035 was 37 mils, but then it got bigger in the 5146. So if we look at Patek as an example, this is an interesting thing that's happened. With the World Time, this was a 5110, 37 mils. Came out 2000. In 2006, they then released the 5130, which was 39.5 mils. So that's 2.5 mils bigger. Then a couple years ago, they released a replacement to the 5130. They released the 5230, which is the current World Time. Guess what? It went smaller, 38.5. So I really think myself, this is the trend. They were certain size, they got big, and then they've brought them down again. And that's the same thing. You look at Rolex. Rolex's sports range were basically 40mm pieces. The Submariner, the GMT, the Explorer 2. They got bigger. Rolex tried. And what they did, which was very, very clever, was they didn't change the 40mm on, say, the Submariner. They fattened the shoulders. That's right. They fattened the shoulders. And this was quite an interesting experiment, because what they actually did, which is interesting, they've changed the geometry of the watch. They've played around with the height and the lugs. So by making them more muscular, they've changed the geometry of the watch and made it wear bigger. So pieces like the GMT, they've made it bigger without making it more than 40mm. So it's more masculine and more brutal. They increased the deep sea, the sea dweller, to the deep sea, which was 44mm, but too big, too chunky, too much problem. So they reinvented the sea dweller 43mm, 1mm smaller, but they changed the geometry. Instead of wanting big, chunky, they went smaller. So even though it's 43, it wears like a 42. Very clever. Very, very clever indeed. So watchmakers have played with the geometry to get the right size. Now, what is the rules there? What do I think is the rules? I think the optimum size really is for a men's dress watch 37, 38, 39. That genre, that's the space. I would even say my 37mm world time is possibly a touch small. Wee bit small. But I'm happy to live with that because of the discount in the pricing. With Rolex themselves, they're 36mm. I think, unless you're a smaller chap, I think it's too small. I'm sorry, this is the rules. And 33mm, definitely no-go zone at all. Too small. It's interesting, the ladies' watches have also gone through the same thing. If we look at the Rolex Datejust, Rolex increased the size by saying Datejust 36 was a ladies. They introduced a ladies Datejust 36mm with flowers on the dial. I think that was too big. And now they've brought back, instead of the 26mm, it's gone to 28. So they've added 2mm to it. So that really leaves me, what is the optimum size? And I think 36 plus 2 is 38. 38mm is the sweet spot for men's dress watches. For ladies, I'd say there's still quite a bit of elegance in smallish watches. I mean, they scale in beautifully. This here is a lady's date. It's a lady's date, 26mm. So is it too small? Well, it depends on the size of your wedge. But I think it's quite a nice size there. It's interesting, the geometry, they can do so much, as well as playing with the size. The geometry of the piece has a big bearing. I'm Paul Pluta. This is the Archie Luxury Channel. Tell me what you guys think of that.
Okay,
Hi guys. A fan of mine has been inspired to start a wristwatch series of his own. Bitter Poet Madman. That's the name of his channel. And the show is called It's Complicated. That's right, it's complicated. It looks like he has some nice examples. I saw he has a Rolex. He recently just got an Amiga. He talks watch accessories, does reviews, unboxings, and talks about new and pre-owned wristwatches. Again, the channel name is Bitter Poet Madman. Bitter Poet Madman. So why don't you fuckers let that fucker know what you think of that? Bitter Poet Madman channel.
Hey yo, I'm Bitter Poet Madman, the host of It's Complicated, a wristwatch series. We talk about luxury watches, we talk about affordable watches, we're going to review those watches, we're going to talk about the watch market in general. I'm going to tell you how to get good bargains, I'm going to show you how to find good watches used, I'm going to show you how to find affordable watches new, and how to save money on that grail piece that you're looking at.
Hi guys, Archie Luxury channel, Paul Pluta channel, and my good friend Tanzillin, answering super chats. It's not about the money. It's not about the money. I feel like I'm doing my passion. Tanzillin, simply the best. And he's got another one for you here. How's this? It's not about the money. It's not about the money. It's my passion. Shackling on time. Simply the best. Now guys, I gotta tell you, I struggle to survive full-time on YouTube. Please look in the description below for 10 ways you can keep me full-time on YouTube. Guys, I really need your help. Please consider getting a paid video review. I'll do a review on any watch, any question you want. Guys, you can sponsor me on Patreon. You can sponsor me for as little as $1 a month. $1 a month, and that just keeps me going on full-time on YouTube. Guys, you could also, I do phone calls. You can talk to me for an hour on the phone, Skype or WhatsApp, for $50 US. Guys, I really do need your help to stay full-time. Ben cannot survive on Google Ads alone. Please help me. Please help me stay full-time on YouTube. And guys, don't forget that it's not about the money. It's my passion. Shackling on time. Simply the best. Tanzillin, thank you. That's a sponsored bit from Tanzillin. I can do that for $150 a month if you email me directly. Look below for my email address, guys.